Hey, hey, blue table fans! How are you guys doing? So, it's been like a week, and while I'm going about my business, by the way, right around 50 projects, 10 artists right now. So, things are clicking. It's really good. Makes me happy inside. Had an artist come by this morning, and Tom, I think you guys have seen him in some of the videos. He had a War Machine Hordes army, a couple of them actually, all ready to go. So I'm pretty excited about that. Just never goes, it's like a heartbeat, just keeps going. So I haven't made any videos, but here I am. There's things happening every day. Valhalla's coming up in October. So let's see, Valhalla started in 2011. I didn't do a Valhalla in 2015. Is that right? 2014 and 2015. And then Miranda, aka Wargamer Girl, who we all know, and she sort of picked up the torch, and she did one last year, 2016, and one this year, 2017. There might be day passes. People are starting to just rent nearby places and just go up. And that's actually a very economical way of doing it. And so let's see here. So I can't say it's sold out, but it really is sold out within like weeks. So that's pretty cool. That makes me happy. Happy inside my sweet, tender little heart. And terrain. So I had a taker for my terrain pitch, and that's going to start. So I'm going out to buy all the raw materials. I've got the ideas. I'm going to start planning them out, actually sketching them and doing like measurements and stuff. And I'd like to get 1 or 2 people still on board with that. So basically there's a buy-in. And so when I'm making the terrain, I'll just make that much more so you can have some. And it's kind of like an artistic license thing. You can specify the genre, but I'm just going to do whatever strikes me at the time. And believe me, that's gonna turn out better. So terrain. So contact me. There's an email in the liner notes if you are interested in that. Let's see here. Okay. Pathfinder. Oh yeah! So just to put you up to speed, once upon a time there was Dungeons and Dragons. Then there was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And then there was 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons. Then there was 3.5, and I think literally they call it 3.5. And they had smoothed it and revamped it and done some wonderful things with it, but it still had that nostalgic flair. Then Wizards of the Coast bought the intellectual property. They bought Dungeons & Dragons, and they released 4th edition, which was terrible. It wasn't even the same game. And they really kind of underestimated the nostalgia of the players of that game, myself included, because I started in '81 at age 12. Just fascinated by it. Couldn't get little old 12-year-old me. And now, full circle, my youngest son is now 12, and he's in my group. And it's really neat. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to talk about... Let me just get through the other things, then I'm going to come back to that. But first, I got to finish the train of thought. Okay, so then they came out with 4.0, and there was a company named Paizo who was doing the magazines, Dragon Magazine and Dungeon Magazine. And Dungeon Magazine was really just adventures and like little one-off things that you would, run for your game. And Paizo, because there was an open license for it, they just revamped the rules and made a game called Pathfinder. They didn't own the intellectual property Dungeons and Dragons, so they had to rename it to Pathfinder. But in this humble author's opinion, it's the real D&D. It's the heir apparent to Dungeons and Dragons. And they did that in 2007. Massive fan playtesting. And the rule book that they came out with, which I have like nearby. In fact, hold on just a second. Let me just grab a couple things. All right. Yeah. Okay, so they came out with a core rule book. And this thing's huge. It's like 500 and some odd pages. And this has stood the test of time. It's 10 years now. And this is a great game. I mean, it is really strong. And they stayed true to the roots of the game. Or the ruts, if you're in Oregon. And you can take the boy out of Oregon. Okay, so that's what Pathfinder is, in case any of you were wondering about that. So Wizards of the Coast really blew it. Like Pathfinder really, I mean, is amazing. Like Paizo, I started counting their, I'm kind of on a collecting rampage for their publications. And boy, did I pick the wrong thing, because there's a lot. They've published about 65 modules and short ones, and then they've published 120 adventure paths, which I've explained before. Yeah, by the way, that's what a lot of this ramble is going to be about. What I'm doing right now. And so they published the adventure paths, 120 of them, recently 121. And those come out every month, so, right? 10 years, 12 months a year, 120 paths. And then the Player's Companions, those are short publications that sort of elaborate a race, or, you know, they talk about black markets, or, you know, whatever aspect of the game world. And there's been, I think, 75 of those. And then, of course, all the regular books they've done. And, well, it's a publishing company, right? So, and they did such a good job. They're so strong now that I don't know, but I think Wizards of the Coast is like, well, you know, we'll kind of keep the IP going, because you have to publish things in order to maintain your intellectual property. You can't just do nothing for 20 years. So they published D&D 5th edition, really just with barely, like there's hardly anything for it. I think it's been out a couple years now. And it's, I mean, it's well done. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that it's like Paizo really basically co-opted this fundamental cultural intellectual property. It's really cool. And they've done such a good job. Oh my gosh, such a good job. In fact, let me show you. This is what an adventure path looks like. So in an adventure path, if you look on the spine, it says Reign of Winter. That's the path. The module name is called The Frozen Stars, and it's part 4 of 6. So in these, you start at first level. By the time you're done with the path, you're at 18th level. To actually run these, it probably takes 3 to 6 sessions per module to do it. So it would take 18 to 36 sessions. Probably, for a typical group who skips weeks and things come up, probably about a year to finish a complete campaign from first level to 18th level. Very exciting. The art is through the roof. So here's what they look like. Oh, isn't this exciting? Now I'm doing this. Let's get ready to ramble. So there's like a little player handout on the front page. And then there's an article, like an introduction by the author. And there's just art everywhere. Like there's like 20 pieces of art that would have been worthy of the front cover. There's an adventure background. And then there's the adventures that, like maps and, you know, the typical things you would find in a module. But this is only half of it. It's, I think this is like 60 pages, 64 pages. Look at the art. Isn't that amazing? Oh my gosh, so good. So good. Oh, so good. And yeah, so it goes, we're at page 40. Hold on, there's more. And the maps are just absolutely incredible. So there's the adventure, and we're almost done. Here it is. So then it's yeah, page 56. And how many pages are there? Oh, there's more than 64. Page 92. Wow. So I mean, isn't that great? And they used to cost $20 each. Now I think they've upped them to $25. It's still a great deal. And for what you get. And then you get like, there's a couple of characters that were in the adventure. And like they're so detailed. There's a great picture, a full page of just their background and stuff. It's amazing. A couple, there's another thing, magic items. And then it's like a gazetteer. It's like it explains the background of it, ecology, seasons. There's some fiction in here. A map, so it explains the world. So in case you don't want to just run the adventure, you want to like kind of go outside it and understand that world, or if your characters go off the beaten track, there's more information. So, and then there's some fiction. This is called The Bone Bridge. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of fiction. A bestiary. I don't think I'm holding this up high enough. Storm Ghost. Oh man. Yeah, a whole bunch of great new monsters. And the monsters aren't always, you know, for that module. Some of them can be like way powerful or less powerful. I mean, just what an incredible resource. And what they've created, 100 pages each times 120, that's 12,000 pages of amazingness. And in fact, the whole thing, if you bought all of them, it would be, I don't know, like 4 feet wide. I go to shops and they're they don't have that many. They rarely even have whole paths. Well, that's not true. Haster's Hobbies down in Sandy had a bunch of them. So real exciting. Then they have these, it's called Whatever Revisited, Undead Revisited. And this is like the old Elminster's Ecologies for you beardy types. Chime in if you remember Elminster. So, and just the art is insane. It's so good. They do reuse some of their art. I noticed some things appear in a couple of publications, but you know, it's not, I'll forgive them that. And so Pathfinder, wait, let me see. All right, let me just cover my other quick items. Okay, specials. First off, listen carefully, because what I've noticed is humans kind of just hear what they want to hear and they erase the rest. I think I do the same thing. So I don't talk about numbers on videos, because then people are like, oh, I heard this, I heard that, you said this. Okay, so this isn't official. I can't stress that enough. The only numbers that count are the ones that I email you, and like there's an actual physical record. So when I give a quote, I give a quote. It's broken down of what exactly it is we're going to do. And you got to do it that way. But think about an army. Let's say you had an army with 100 guys in it. And you've assembled them, 100 infantry. And that would be right around your average sized army. Now let's say you have some tanks. And let's put an equivalency on there. Let's say if you get rid of 6 to 10 guys, you can put in a tank. Or if you get rid of, you know, I don't know, 3 to 5 guys, you can put in like a small vehicle. Or a hero that's painted like much better than the rest of them. Stuff like that. But an average army has about 100 things in it. 100 units, I get in the general term of that. Now, as a general rule, we charge about $10 per guy. And from what I understand, I don't spend a lot of time going around the internet and seeing what other people are doing. I'm just doing what I'm doing. But as far as I understand, that's right about middle of the road. So anyway, and sometimes more, sometimes less. But I have a special, if you give us artistic license to paint them and base them how the artist wants, which by the way, sometimes turns out even better. And to a just get it done level, it's only half of that. So you're talking about $500 to get an army done. That is great. And so anyway, I'm painting with very broad strokes here, and then you can pay half up front, $250. So this is well within reach. We're the everyman's painter. We're the workhorse painter. There's a zillion boutique painters out there that are like, I paint everything to the absolute best of my artistic ability and nothing else will do. And that's great. It seems like I'm mocking it, but I'm really not. I really admire those guys. I mean, that's really great, and especially to do a whole force like that. But, you know, you do pay for that. So anyway, so you really should. You should send in for a quote and then break it up. You can tell me, it's like, you can even set the time. You can say, listen, I'm going to split this among 4 months worth of checks. Can we just time it to the last thing? And then you're talking $500, maybe $700, and it's split into four different ways. I mean, it's so attainable, guys. And you put them together, you send them in, and we just get them done. And I had a client do this with me recently. Well, in fact, we've done a lot of these just to get it done armies, and they've turned out great. And it's a very efficient use of funds. All right, I am looking for trade-ins. So if you have some models that you want to trade in for, you can trade it in for a web store credit. I've got about 2,000 listings. It's spread out among so many categories that it looks sort of like, well, what's on here? But you know, if you dig, you might find something you love. And the credit's good for 6 months. So, you know, so you get a web store credit, you can get a service credit, and you can also get, cash or oh my gosh, what is it? Like a gift certificate for an online store. And those two are typically the same amount there, because I end up just spending the money getting you the gift certificate anyway. So there you go. 8th edition in books. Oh yeah, 8th edition. So all right, are you guys ready for some hypocrisy? Maybe even some rank hypocrisy. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. There he is. Okay, so, wow, I'm really close to the camera now. Why, hello there. All right, so and then you wake up in terror. Oh, I gotta tell you this story. You're gonna love this. Okay, sidetrack. So I'm sleeping and I'm having this dream that I'm staying over at Black Jack's house, and I'm just sleeping on the couch, right? So him and his girlfriend are headed out the door, going out on a date or whatever, and I'm just laying there, and I'm looking up at the ceiling, and I see some sort of insect, like maybe a cockroach, but it's big. It's like 4 inches long, right? And I'm like, hey, there's something crawling on the ceiling up there. And he takes his glasses off, and with the prong of the glasses, he like touches it, right? And it unfolds its legs, and it's this spider. It's like bigger than a tarantula. And not one of those fuzzy, you know, common house pet wolf spiders. Oh no, this is one of those creepy, pale, brownish ones, right? And it spins a web and it's dropping off the ceiling. This is a dream, by the way. And he scoops it by the web with his glasses, right? And he's bringing it over to me, and it's clear in a second he's gonna put it on my face. And I'm like, so in the dream I go like this, F no! And I'm like I'm gonna bat it away. And that's how I actually woke up. I said, blank, no, really super loud, and like waved my arm. And then I was awake. So, what the heck, man? The headline there is, what's going on with Jack Black? Okay, so trades. So those go, you can send them to projects@bluetablepainting.com. You just tell me what you have. The more information, the better. If I don't have enough information, I just assume the worst. I assume it's out of print, it's in bad condition, whatever it is. But this is a great way to just scoop all that stuff, and you know, your significant other who maybe is sick of all your garbage around the house, you know, he or she, you know, may look favorably on you getting some new stuff when you get rid of some of that old stuff. And I find a good home for it. But really, when I'm giving you your numbers, don't be surprised because they are low. I'm just trying to turn it around and get it out the door. And you gotta be pretty aggressive these days to get rid of those secondhand figures. You know, it's like sometimes people on like Facebook sites or whatever, they're like, yeah, here's my army. It's 20% off of retail. It's like, well, okay, great, but you can buy new stuff for that and pick whatever you want. So it's like, I try and sell things for about half. Don't quote me on that. I did say about. So anyway, stuff written down counts. Stuff that I say on the video is eyeballing it. Okay, so 8th edition comes out, and hypocrisy alert here. And I'm just like, I gotta buy all these books again. They're publishing 10 books. And I go out and I'm looking at this giant stack of Forge World, like $600 of Forge World books. And I'm like, oh, those are all, like they were like the prize of the collection, you know. Oh no, those are all garbage now. So I don't know, like my heart is sinking, guys. It's sinking because of all the books that need to be purchased. And I'm looking at all this being done. It's indexes, General's Compendium. And I'm like, and I don't know for sure, but somewhere along the line I came across this thing where it's only like $5 to make one of these books. But of course, yeah, there's the old thing of like overhead, and I respect that. I understand that. Now I gotta tell you, I've become, hold on, I gotta move this camera back. You guys are getting way too much Sean in the face. You know, as a businessman, I'm sympathetic to all those, like, people are just like ready to go online and rip everything to shreds. And when it's like, you know what, it takes a lot to bring something to market, a lot of creativity, a lot of money up front, and to actually build it up it's really something. So, not faulting the company, but I've bought 5 Eldar books and loved every one, but I don't think I can buy another Eldar book. I just don't think I can do it. It's making me sad. Like, mentally I'm having a hard time all of a sudden get past it. Couple that with don't ask me how much I've laid out for my Pathfinder books recently. And of course, Pathfinder's even worse, but I look at it as a monthly thing, like games to do 40K, like, and competitively buy all the publications, know what's in all the books and everything, it's for Games Workshop, just for 40K, is probably $100 to $150 a month. Now, just in books. That's what you're going to be buying in books. Just books. And then, on top of that, never mind if you do Age of Sigmar, too. You know, it's, wow, Age of Sigmar. And I love it so much, but I've gotten distracted with D&D, basically. So I'm going to tell you more, plan through these other things so I can tell you more about that. Where are we right now? Oh, 24 minutes. Wow, this has been quite, normally that's like 20, 22 minutes. I haven't even got started. Okay, so I'm looking, as of today, I'm looking for the Pathfinder Adventure Path 1 through 6 of Carrion Crown. So if you have one, if you have that, guy, let me know. And I'd love to get the extras for it too, like maps and whatever. Okay, don't forget the terrain thing. If you want, I have 2 slots open for that. There's a buy-in. I'll put it in the liner notes. If I don't, just email me. Be like, hey, what's the deal with this? And you're going to end up with some really good terrain out of it. Yeah, it's going to be inspired. Or you can wait for me to get started and see what I'm doing. Let's see, Valhalla, blah, blah, blah. I've been playing with the idea of having someone do my bat reps by remote. I know it won't be the same thing, but at least it'll be something. Maybe someone will have fun with it and you can get exposure on my channel that you wouldn't normally get. And yeah, just contact me about that. Okay, now let's talk about D&D. So I'm treating myself after years of grinding online, that's typing. I am treating myself to a D&D game. So I contacted the people I most wanted to be in it, like my top 8, and I got 5. I got 5 of them. I've got my 2 sons, my 12-year-old son, my 16-year-old son. Oh gosh, he's turning 16 this month. Okay, next month, September. Then you've got Veronica and Tom, who, by the way, are great humans. They're playing paladins that are brothers. And what's funny is, we sat down, I'm like, all right, everybody make the characters. Nobody knew what the other people were doing. They were just making their own thing. And we sit down, every single one half-elf. It was all half-elves. It's like half-elves only need apply. And so yeah, they're playing 2 paladins of Ragathor, I guess, some kind of outcast deity. Pretty cool stuff. They were explaining it to me. And then my sons are playing a Tengu monk and a half-elf cavalier. And cavaliers are awesome. Oh my gosh, what a great class. So, okay. And then I have my assistant Jamie. And by the way, I'm going to put her video live that we took the other day. I need you to understand that the Jamie that I see when I turn the camera on, I don't know who that Jamie is. That's like, there's a complete shift in personality. And I guess she has some kind of persona that she has out there. But when we're actually doing our work, she's completely professional. I mean, it's amazing. I haven't come across anyone as organized as her. I mean, it's really amazing. Like, she just gets it all done. It's great. It's really, I'm really glad to have her be a part of things. So anyways, that's Jamie. And she's been on for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months now. It's been a while. And she paints too. She's an extremely talented artist. And in fact, I'm seeing those little seeds of greatness. So we'll stay tuned to see how that develops. Okay, so for Pathfinder, I'm running Emerald Spire. So you'd think I'd run one of these adventure paths, which I love, and I have a bunch of them. But I thought, you know what, I just want this to be fun. I want it to feel like a throwaway. So I'm running Emerald Spire Super Dungeon. Yeah, that's right. It's not a regular dungeon. It's a super dungeon. So I think I explained this on another video. It's 16 levels. Each level is written by, you know, an amazing author. They're all original. But I've set out, this is sort of a preliminary to Ultimate Fantasy Role-Playing, which I've explained before. In a nutshell, it's what is the highest form of this, of role-playing. And it's in a Valhalla. I'm dreaming of a permanent Valhalla where it's not rented. I'm just there all the time, like Elrond and Rivendell. And when your group need to come out, you just book it. I'm ready. We'll still do regular wargaming stuff, but I'm gearing up for the role-playing stuff. Probably using the Pathfinder system, but I'll do other things as well as it all unfolds. But I'll have things where I say, hey, on such and such date, I'm doing this, I'm trying to fill the slots. More likely, though, it'll be a group. Group of 5 to 8 people. They'll come out, just like the Valhallas we used to have up in Sundance. But again, a permanent location where you just say, hey, this is the time. We saw what you did with the last group. We love it. So it's all miniatures, painted to a high level, and it's all the terrain. There's no paper maps. There's no dry erase markers. There's only actual, real, physical, imaginative, high quality, inspirational terrain for the whole thing. And you come out for a week. Right now I'm thinking every day there will be 2 3-hour sessions. And you'll have to space them out because it's a lot of energy to really do that. And then in between the sessions, I'll have like a little, you know, it can run longer if you know, the party's really into it. And then hopefully get through the adventure. So I had a group, and some of them had been to Valhalla before, and they said, hey, we're interested in this, but why don't, I've had several groups approach me actually, but this one said, hey, why don't you run us through an online thing? And it occurred to me as I was running them through the online thing, I'm like, oh, I'm terrible at this. Like I actually don't know this game. I don't know what it, like how all the rules work. I'm an old Gygaxian era DM where it's like the player says, hey, I want to do this, and you just adjudicate that. You might even just say, oh yeah, you're successful. That happens. That's amazing. That's a great idea. I'm going to allow that. Or you say, well, you need such and such roll, and just pull it right off the top of your head. Just make, and that's what I found. I'm like, I'm really making this up. And I found that like half of their group, they loved that. They rolled with it. The other half is like, hey, what are you doing? You're changing the rules of the game. And then I was like, I'm going to have to do all of that. Like, what do I need to do to be an Olympic level DM? What am I going to need to do to be the, you know, the top 1% of doing this? Maybe even the best DM in the world. All right. So what I did is I started studying up and doing test runs. That's what I'm doing with my current group. I'm figuring out, well, how do you actually run this? And so that it can be so smooth that it doesn't get in the way of the other good things too, the epic stuff, the imaginative stuff. You never get bogged down in rules. You want to know why? Because your DM, me, and the assistant, which I will need for a week-long thing, maybe even 2, all know what they're doing. And then another thing, so that's what's going on. That's what I'm doing nowadays. I'm gearing up for that. And it's a real thing. I think by this Valhalla, I'll be talking to Miranda about it. I'll be ready to roll this kind of showcase, like a preliminary, a beta of this. And start getting my list of people for 2018 to come out and actually do it. And I've got feelers out for that permanent location. I don't know how exactly. The easiest way would just be that a benefactor just fell out of the sky and said, listen, I've got resources. I want to be a part of this. I want me and any of my buds to be able to just come out to do this with you X amount of times per year. Be the Elrond. I'll build your Rivendell. All you got to do is be the Elrond. Awesome. Let's do that. And so I'm preparing myself to do that. I got to understand this. I got to hone my skills. I got to perfect my craft. It's already good. I'm noted for being a really great GM. See, I changed it to GM because GM is for all sorts of games. All right. So